Good day everyone, I am Krizhan Opinald from BSN 1 Peplo. For today I am going to demonstrate the location and palpate the following bone markings on myself. First is the greater trochanter of the femur. The greater trochanter is located at the top of the thigh bone, which is femur, and is the most prominent and widest part of the hip. Next, patella and tibial tuberosity. The tibial tuberosity is the bump on the top of the tibia or the shin bone where the patellar tendon connects. Tendon connects muscles to bones. The patellar tendon stretches over the top of the patella or the kneecap. The patellar tendon connects the large quadriceps muscle on the front of the thigh to the tibial tuberosity. Lateral malleolus. The lateral malleolus is the name given to the bone on the outside of the ankle joint called the fibula. The most common type of ankle fracture is a lateral malleolus fracture, which can occur when the ankle is twisted or rolled. Medial malleolus. The medial malleolus is the bony prominence on the inner side of the ankle formed by the lower end of the tibia. Next, calcaneus. The calcaneus is the bone that forms the heel of the foot and is the largest bone in the foot, providing the foundation for the other bones in the foot and ankle. For the next one I will be demonstrating each movements of the synovial joints. First is flexion, a movement generally in sagittal plane that decreases the angle of the joint and reduces the distance between the two bones. Flexion is typically of hand joints but is also common at ball and socket joints. Second one is extension, a movement that increases the angle of a joint and the distance between two bones. Extension is the opposite of flexion. If extension is greater than 180 degrees, it is termed hyperextension. The third one is abduction, a movement of the limb away from a midline or median plane of the body, generally on frontal plane, or the fanning movement of fingers or toes where they are spread apart. Next is adduction. It is the movement of limb toward the midline of the body. Adduction is the opposite of abduction. Next is rotation, a movement of a bone around its longitinal axis. Rotation, a common movement of ball and socket joints, also describe the movement of atlas around the odontoid process of the axis. Circumduction, a combination of flexion, extension, abduction, and adduction, commonly observed in ball and socket joints like the shoulder. The proximal end of the limb remains stationary and the distal end moves in a circle. The limb as whole outlines a cone. Next, pronation, a movement of the palm of the hand from an anterior of upward facing position to a posterior or downward facing position. This action moves the distal end of the radius across the ulna so that the two bones form an X. The next one is supination, a movement of the palm from a posterior position to an anterior position. Supination is the opposite of pronation. During supination, the radius and ulna are parallel. Next is inversion, a movement that results in the medial turning of the sole of the foot. Next, deversion, a movement that results in the lateral turning of the sole of the foot, the opposite of inversion. Lastly, we have the dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. The first one is the dorsiflexion, a movement of the ankle joint in a dorsal direction. The next one is plantar flexion, a movement of the ankle joint in which the foot is flexed